You are cordially invited to embark on a voyage to explore the world of courageous fishermen who face the enormous ocean on a daily basis. I am having a difficult time drifting in the middle of the ocean in order to search for gigantic fish that are of great worth to the seafood sector. We are going to follow the fisherman as he navigates a fishing boat that is tens of meters in length in today's movie. The pursuit of gigantic groupers, a species of fish that is considered to be the king of coral reefs, due to their enormous bodies, superior power, and economic significance that cannot be understated, involves venturing into the perilous depths of the ocean. During the early hours of the morning, when the sun had not yet emerged from behind the dense cloud cover that was located on the horizon, the roar of the engine signaled the departure of the ship from the harbor. Despite the fact that the icy air from the ocean entered the skin, nobody complained about it. Every single person on board was aware that whatever was ahead was going to be a very long day of earning a living. Arduous, but also brimming with optimism. The deck was the location where hundreds of meters of fishing line were meticulously arranged. Hooks that are sharp are connected to live bait, which is typically fresh squid or tiny fish, in a methodical manner. Every single hook represents a potential opportunity, and when it comes to large groupers, a single catch can bring in a fish that weighs hundreds of kilograms. Methods of fishing for grouper are distinct from other types of fishing tactics. In order to win this struggle, you will need to have patience, experience, and a profound grasp of the behaviors of this kind of fish. Caves deep on the seafloor, coral reefs, and natural crevices are common places for groupers to hide out and do their living. They do not move about that much. They are able to bite anything that moves within their line of sight, but when they are hungry, they become violent. After determining the optimal spot, fishermen must then lower the fishing line to a depth that is deep enough to reach the bottom, secure it with a large weight, and then wait. It may take a few hours at times, or it may take a whole day at other times. It seems as though the first indication is a powerful jerk that causes the entire line to become taut. This grouper has decided to take the bait. However, that is not the very conclusion of the narrative. The process of removing a massive grouper from the ocean floor, which is located hundreds of meters below the surface, is not an easy one. In order to break free of the hook, it will strive, go to great depths, and struggle. Winch operations must be continuous at all times. In order to avoid making a single error, the operator must maintain a steady hand and avoid allowing the line to get too tight or too loose. There is a possibility that the hook will come loose, the line will snap, and all of your efforts will be vaporized like a bubble in the water. On account of the slow appearance of the fish beneath the deep blue ocean, the hearts of the entire ship appeared to pause for a brief while. What is the gigantic grouper? It is a massive mass of meat that is either dark brown or dark gray in color, with large, round eyes that are furious, and pectoral fins that are as wide as an adult's arm. Some of them can reach lengths of up to 2 meters and weigh more than 200 kilograms. For fishermen to be able to bring it onto the deck, they need to use either big nets or iron hooks. There are occasions when 3 to 4 people are required to collaborate smoothly. Even after being dragged out of the water, the giant grouper maintains a high level of strength. Even now, it is capable of thrashing around with such force that the entire deck shakes. It is imperative that fishermen take prompt action, either by covering the fish's eyes with wet towels in order to calm it down, or by using cold water in order to chill the fish down. Immediately after the fish has been deemed safe, it will be measured, its weight will be recorded, and it will be placed in a cool storage chamber so that it can remain fresh. The value of a huge grouper is extremely high on the market, which is available internationally. A number of Asian nations, including Japan, Hong Kong, and China, regard grouper to be a delicacy of the highest order. As a result, it is frequently served at extravagant banquets or at restaurants that are rated 5 stars. It is possible to prepare a wide variety of dishes using grouper meat, which is white, chewy, and sweet. Some examples of these dishes include sashimi, which is cooked in porridge and steamed with soy sauce. A significant amount of collagen and healthy fat can be found in the head of the fish, particularly in the cheeks, which is something that chefs very much like. It is not only a source of material satisfaction for fishermen, but it is also a source of professional pride for them whenever they are successful in catching a giant grouper. Some individuals spend their entire lives at sea, hoping for the opportunity to reel in a fish that is considered to be legendary, a grouper that is longer than an adult and weighs more than 300 kilograms. Hence, it must be removed from the deck using a crane. On the boat, during the nights when the wind and waves are blowing, tales like that are still conveyed to the passengers. In addition to abilities, grouper fishing requires a high level of tenacity and a strong sense of team spirit. Every single member on the boat is responsible for a certain function. Who is responsible for dropping the line? Whoever is responsible for monitoring the machine. The one who uses note-taking. Someone who is in charge of operating the winch. Someone who watches the fish while they are submerged in water. When taken as a whole, they produce a system that functions without any hiccups and in which no one is permitted to commit errors. At the same time, it is impossible to avoid mentioning the risk that is associated with this line of work. There was a time when a large wave hit and made the deck slippery when we were bringing in fish. A fisherman was also on the verge of being tossed into the water. There are instances in which a shark has consumed a grouper that has not yet been brought to the surface of the water. People grow more attached to their work as a result of those situations, which simultaneously fear them, mainly due to the fact that it is in the difficulties that people genuinely comprehend the significance of labor. There is no Wi-Fi, and there is no phone signal in the middle of the enormous ocean. The only sound that can be heard is that of machines. A combination of the sound of waves and the calls of people who are enthusiastic about the ocean. However, it is a very different world for them, where they are able to feel free, strong, and authentic to who they are. The ship proceeded with its intended course. Preparations were made for the reels, bait was applied to the hooks, and the sun started to rise. Its golden light could be seen reflecting off of the silvery water. Laughter could be heard throughout the deck as one of the crew members related the tale of the enormous grouper that had been caught a few years previously. It was more than an hour before the entire crew was able to pull it up. The excitement was indescribable, despite the fact that everyone was fatigued. The water is more than just a location of employment for fishermen who specialize in gigantic grouper. In addition to being a part of their flesh and blood, the ocean lives within them, etched into their memories, pulsing through their veins, and guiding the rhythm of their everyday lives. These fishermen do not merely work on the sea, they understand it intimately. They read the subtle changes in the sky, feel the mood of the wind, and recognize the silent language of the waves. Their connection to the ocean runs deeper than skill. It is rooted in reverence. They carry a profound respect for each fish they catch, viewing them not merely as commodities but as sacred gifts of the sea. Every grouper hauled aboard is acknowledged with silent gratitude, for they know the ocean gives only what it chooses to give. Their fishing voyage is more than routine. It is an adventure, unpredictable and raw. With every sunrise, they cast off knowing full well that nature holds all the cards. Some days, the sea is generous, offering up its bounty freely. The hold is filled with gleaming muscular groupers, and laughter echoes across the deck. Other days, they return home empty-handed, the nets slack, and the air heavy with salt and silence. But this uncertainty is never discouraging. It is simply part of the life they've chosen, part of the agreement they've made with the sea. Despite the hardships, they never waver. For these men, hope isn't tied to the size of the catch, but to something greater. As long as the wind whispers across the bow and the golden sun rises over the restless water, they find joy in the mere act of sailing out. The journey itself is a reward, a test of patience, perseverance, and spirit. And so, the pursuit of gigantic groupers begins again, each voyage a continuation of the last, woven together like a never-ending story passed down across generations. In the same way that they release long fishing lines into the ocean's vast depths, lines that vanish into the blue without a promise of return, they cast their trust into the unknown. For days at a time, they drift, chasing rumors of massive fish that lurk in the shadows of underwater canyons. The waves rise and fall like breathing giants beneath their boat. The ocean, wild and infinite, surrounds them in every direction, yet the ship presses on, undeterred. Guided by instinct, by history, and by an unspoken bond with the sea, they sail deeper into the open water. Out there, beyond the horizon where the sky melts into the ocean, they continue their timeless dance with the deep, chasing the legendary grouper that few have ever seen, but all have dreamed of catching.